The Story of Ruth. I love the biblical story of Ruth. Ruth is my Hebrew name, and my faith story echoes hers. Like her, I was called in the land of Israel when I was broken. Like her, I was blessed by God with a new husband of strong faith. Ruth showed herself a loving daughter-in-law to her mother-in-law Naomi, who had first lost her husband and then her 2 sons. Distraught, Naomi set out from Moab for her Bethlehem home with her 2 daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpah. Naomi decided to send them back to Moab. Orpah went, but Ruth refused to leave Naomi alone. She declared her commitment to Naomi and to the God of Israel. The 2 headed down to the Dead Sea, the lowest place on earth, in silence. They arrived in Bethlehem at the start of the barley harvest. A crowd of women surrounded them, hardly able to recognize Naomi, whose face was etched with misery. Though my name means sweet, they should call me Mara, which means bitter, Naomi said, for God has dealt harshly with me. The larder was bare when Ruth suggested gleaning around the edges of the barley fields, as widows in Israel did. Nothing could be more humiliating to Naomi. "Oh, go, daughter," she said. Ruth happened to glean in the field of Boaz. He invited her to share his workers' lunch and prayed for God's protection over her. A glimmer of hope came to Naomi's eye when she heard Boaz could marry Ruth. A child would save them both. The barley and wheat harvests came and went. Ruth stayed home, waiting for his knock at the door. Eventually, Naomi hatched a plan. Ruth should go to Boaz on the threshing floor at night. Ruth, who had refused to obey her orders and return to Moab, now did as she was told. Boaz, groggy with sleep, wondered who this woman was lying beside him. "It's Ruth," she replied. "Place your cloak about me." By that, she meant marry me. And he did, despite revealing that another contender, with a stronger claim to Ruth and her late father-in-law's land, had to be eliminated first. Ruth and Boaz named their son Obed, which means he worships. Obed would father Jesse, who fathered the great King David, ancestor to the Messiah. For now, however, Naomi happily put the babe to her breast, and miraculously, since she was past childbearing age, nursed him. Your free pictorial guide to the Israel Jesus loved is at jesus-ebook.com.